Here we go. Let's start with knight f3 this time. Alex Bjorn 2000. Yeah, we can go with c4. Knight f3, knight c6. I think that might be the black Mustang defense. So he's just setting up fianchetto to counter my fianchetto, I guess. I'm going to castle and then wait and see what he wants to do. He wants to do a double fianchetto. Okay, I'm going to avoid the double fianchetto and think about my setup here a little bit. Maybe bring another knight out. And the bishop might be good on its original diagonal. Now, maybe I could go with e3 and d4, or possibly just d3. Just go for a quiet setup. Can't quite play d4 yet. He's got bishop and knight on it. I guess that's the point of his setup. On the other hand, he didn't put a pawn in the center. Yeah, let's go e3, d4. And maybe Alex is pausing to think here. I guess he plays that standard setup all the time. Maybe it's something you can get away with in Blitz, playing some quick moves like that. I don't know if that's the best setup for black, but it's not taking a lot of chances, right? He's just developing his pieces on the first and second and third ranks. He hasn't committed his kingside knight. So he hasn't put the knight on f6 and might go to e7 to get to the f5 square, or even h6, f5. And he hasn't committed to which side he's going to castle. Hasn't really committed in the center, although he played e6, which indicates probably not playing e5. So I would expect him to play d5 if he's going to make a pawn move. But you can play d6 and knight e7 and just have a really quiet setup like that too. Well, okay, I've rambled on for long enough. It's time for black to make another move here. There he goes. Okay, so anyway, I'm putting my pawn in the center as I intended. Then I will think about, yeah, I was expecting that. So I could take or push. I think I'll just take. And so he's blocked in his bishop. My bishop is a bit blocked in. I can put a knight here maybe. Yeah, let's put the rook opposite his king. And maybe push the e-pawn forward. What happens if I do that? Pawn takes, knight takes, and the knight is defended. He can move his knight with tempo, but I can move my knight to take his knight on f6 with check. Just wanted to open up this diagonal for my bishop. Although I am opening up a diagonal for his bishop too. So pros and cons. I'm going with bishop e3, queen d2, and maybe trade off his dark squared bishop there. I did end up with an isolated queen's pawn position. So he is just going to put pressure on the pawn. 2 attackers, 2 defenders, but the queen is there. So I could play bishop g5. That might be a nice intermediate move. See what he plans to do about it. Yeah, so he goes there. So that's kind of clogging up his king side a bit. But I can't pull back. Yeah, I can play here though, because I have eliminated one of the attackers of the of my d pawn. Maybe there's still some tactic there. Knight takes, pushing the pawn with a double attack. Maybe it wins a pawn. But he has to give up a knight to attack a knight, and then, yeah, he plays that first. Let's go back. Okay, now let's challenge his knight. Want to get my queen to d2 and trade off that dark squared bishop there. Make this isolated pawn a lot healthier. Yeah, all the more reason to play queen d2 here. Want to be able to take back with a rook if he decides to trade. And then, yeah, I want to follow up with bishop h6. Let's see, are there other ideas here? This is only defended once, so I can move this knight with tempo. Ah, he defended it there. Okay. Takes pressure off my d-pawn. Yeah, so I think I want bishop h6, just get rid of his dark squared bishop. Then I can put my knight on e5 even. See, is he making a mistake here of any kind? Well, for example, if I take the knight, he could take back with the knight, and then his bishop would be loose. Then I could play my knight here to attack his queen. He would take the knight, I would take his bishop. He could take a pawn or retreat the bishop. Let's get rid of this bishop first. I didn't see anything there. There might be something there. It's kind of a little bit of a shaky structure. Loose bishop here. This was previously under fire. And I also have two pieces that were attacking this knight here. So he throws that in. Okay. That's not a problem for me. That supports my pawn here, makes it stronger. And now, if he wants to get that good outpost for his knight, I can always kick it away with c4. So he's just trading. I guess he was worried about tactics against his queen. Knight coming here, attacking the queen, and hitting his bishop. Yeah, that would be a problem after... that would be a problem after the bishop trade, because the bishop wouldn't be there to take the knight off. So probably had to do something like that. Okay, so I can go c4 and d5. I like that. It opens up this diagonal towards the king. Don't see any great squares the knight has. He goes to f6, I guess. So yeah, let's put my queen on this good diagonal here. So I can play here with check. He can take my bishop, my queen. I can't play there with check right away. So let's get rid of the knight. Let's get rid of the rook. Leave him with the isolated pawn. So I can play here with check. And bring this rook over. Okay, so I have I'm defending f2 and I'm attacking his isolated advanced e-pawn. Okay, so if I played the pawn up immediately, he could just take it. No, he can't take it because I take there with check. He could take with the queen. There we go. Let's raise that rook up. So now if I push the pawn, I'm threatening to win here, win a pawn. If he takes, I take the rook. He can't take with the queen anymore. Might also be an idea to push this pawn forward to d6, get in this check at some point. Okay, Alex Bjorn. Yeah, I didn't see a lot of plans, so I can still play f3, right? Queen takes, rook takes, or pawn takes, rook takes. So he has to move his queen again. Pawn takes, rook takes, check. He does have this passed pawn. Oh, pawn takes, queen takes too. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Okay, so should I take the pawn or the rook? If I take with the rook, he has a check here. So I'm going to take like that. So I've got a nice healthy center pawn there, which is passed. So I just got to have to push that forward. He should probably just blockade it. The immediate blockade is probably good. He does. Okay. So if I trade queens and bring my king up, I think that's the way to win this. I'm worried my king was open there. So now his king can't really get any closer, and I can free up my rook to advance over here, maybe advance this pawn, create a passed pawn by advancing my c pawn, and then my d pawn. Yeah, there's a lot of closed files here, so now I don't want to allow the check, so let's stop that pawn from coming forward. Let's push here. So I want to keep this pawn back as a tempo move. I might need it in the endgame. Okay, so he decided to go that way. So I wanted to create an open file here for my rook. Oh, he's going there. This is interesting. Because I do have the check here. Rook takes, pawn takes, king takes, and then I have this passed pawn, and he has a passed pawn, a potential passed pawn on the side. So I guess he can blockade. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab a pawn here. So yeah, I thought he might do that, but this check, isn't this mate? Where's that king going? Got to be careful when you move your king forward like that. You walked right into a little trap. I think I was winning the end game anyway, though. Anyway, fun game. I guess I will upload that and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.